We're back. RealTalkTwinCities.com. I'm Eric Pirius, Eric the Loan Guy, all things mortgage. We're here every Sunday for you with all things real estate. Like I said before, we want to help you. You could reach out to us at RealTalkTwinCities.com. Cheryl Kempenick with Coldwell Banker Burnet. You could reach her at 612-735-0553. And Donna
Quanrud.
Also with Coldwell Banker Burnet.
And she can be reached at also 612-735-0553. We're here again with Elise Jensen, Azure Wealth Management, her financial tips, and we're talking about millennials and their dismal savings rate of -2%.
And living with mom and dad.
And living with mom and dad, although that can be a good idea in order to save up a down payment. And you talked about some strategies, things to do. But how do you actually get them from here to there? And here being the basement, to there being a condo. So, and do you encourage home ownership?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, of course, everything comes down to people's personal preferences. If I come across someone who wants to go into the Peace Corps in 4 years, we're certainly not going to encourage home ownership. But you know, so much about getting people to their goals is quantifying and clarifying their goals. When someone sits down with me and says, I want to own a home, and we talk about what type of price range really is going to purchase what size home, working backwards and helping them understand what they have to put down in order to be affordable and what type of mortgage they should have in order to be affordable really helps them internalize on the weekend, maybe not going out to dinner with friends at one other time because they need to save $150 a month in order to get to where they need to be. So,
and one of the things that we can do to help out as well is when they are sitting down trying to determine how much they are going to be spending on a home, is we can do a market analysis for different neighborhoods for them. And they can get that by contacting us at RealTalkTwinCities.com.
And get pre-approved. Eric the Loan Guy. .com, 952-907-5757.
And
we're a team.
And have a financial plan put together by contacting me.
A big happy family.
How do they contact you, Elise?
They can get a hold of me at 651-300-2456.
They can be in the circle of trust.
That's right. We've got you covered from beginning to end. Okay, so then once you determine that, talking about lifestyle and future goals, then what would you recommend?
Well, let's assume that they have adequately saved enough money for a down payment. They've purchased their home, and now they're finding themselves on the other side. The first thing I do with clients is sit down and update their plan. Again, the emergency fund is, you know, having cash set aside is a priority, but the one thing people oftentimes overlook is their life insurance and their disability insurance. And so making sure that we've reviewed what they have on the other side of things is key, and then updating it to reflect this massive asset, but also this massive debt that they have is really important.
So the home is the biggest asset that folks will have in their lives typically? Is that right?
Not necessarily. So I would always...
You mean I'm wrong?
You are wrong, Eric.
Okay, go ahead and say it.
The biggest asset that people will have in their life is their ability to earn income.
Makes sense.
So, folks, the biggest asset they'll have in their lives is their income.
Yes,
not
absolutely. Not their home. No.
Okay.
Think about how much money you're going to earn if you earn $50,000 for 35, 40 working years of your life.
Can you give me half an hour? I get this.
Yeah. And that's pretty sad.
A couple
when we
million,
are looking
2-3
backwards.
million.
So think about how much
right.
money you spend, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be spending money on your auto insurance, but think about how much money you spend on your auto insurance.
A lot.
A lot of money a month, right? And granted, you're also insuring against the risk of, you know, getting in an accident and having a liability. You're not just, you know, if you're a millennial, insuring that $10,000, you know, junker that's sitting in mom and dad's driveway. But your income is one that people always overlook. They always overlook it. And they think that they're taken care of because their employer maybe has a little bit of short-term and long-term disability insurance. But the reality is, let's say you're making, just for the sake of simple math, you know, $50,000 a year, okay? And 60% of your income is generally covered by your group employer, your long-term disability plan. So if something happens to you, you go from earning $50,000 a year to earning $30,000 a year. And then if your employer is paying for that benefit, it is taxable to you. So you go from taking home, you know, 35 grand after taxes to taking home about $21,000. Okay? How many people live right up to their paychecks every month anyway, without that emergency fund that I continue to talk about? And then if you even put like a 6-month disability, which everyone always assumes they're going to be just like catastrophically injured, you know, well, I'm not ever going to be in a car accident and be permanently paralyzed. I had a coworker that actually got put on bed rest after her first trimester carrying twins. She was out of work for 6 months.
I've been there. I did that twice.
Yeah.
In bed for many months.
Yeah, and that can be the difference between keeping your home, keeping your vehicle, and staying on track for retirement versus playing catch up for a very, very long time.
Well, and especially if you own a home and you have that mortgage and you've worked so hard to get your credit score up,
Yeah.
and you've budgeted for the income that you're making, and suddenly that's taken away. And if you're married and one of the spouses dies, you can certainly see where life insurance would be important to keep that other spouse and the kids
Yeah.
in the house.
You know, it's funny, being a financial advisor, people often come to me and think that, you know, we're just trying to sell them more insurance than they need. The big secret in our industry is the insurance companies will not allow you to be overinsured. There is an equation that takes into consideration your age and your income. So, I mean, my husband and I call every year and I go, how much will they give me? I want the maximum amount that the insurance company will allow me to have. But it's important to reevaluate what you want, because people so oftentimes assume that if I die, I just need to have my mortgage paid off. But what about the ongoing utilities, the ongoing property taxes? What about not displacing your children? Think about that. Even if your home is paid off, do you really want to move and change school districts or have to commute further for your job? There are a lot of things to consider when purchasing life insurance other than just the mortgage that you're carrying.
Well, and the other thing too is when you're young, you think that you're going to live forever. You
Yeah.
think that you're not going to experience any injuries or disabilities. But in reality, you get to be in your 50s and just about everybody goes through something.
Mhm.
And then try to get your life insurance updated then.
Oh, it's very,
Because most of those policies, I know the ones that we had set up, run for 20 years. And you think that's a long time until suddenly you're at the end.
most often my clients are reevaluating their life insurance after the purchase of a home or having children, which usually happens earlier in life, where the millennials are at right now, or it happens at baby boomer age. And it can be incredibly costly, if not impossible, to get life insurance when you're reevaluating before retirement. But the one thing I hear over and over again when I'm sitting down with people planning for retirement, when they know that they're not on track, is that rather than saving, they oftentimes want life insurance because they know they're not on track. And if one of the spouses dies, they want that peace of mind to know that their husband or wife is taken care of.
And the other nice thing too with life insurance, some of those policies, if you have a terminal illness, they'll pay out 50% while you're still alive
Mhm.
to help you pay for those medical bills.
Actually, more than that, a lot of times it's called accelerated death benefit, and it came about as a result of people selling life insurance policies when they became terminally ill to investment companies.
Rock stars, probably those kind of folks.
No, it was average Americans. I mean, we saw it a lot in the 80s with HIV. If you found out you're terminally ill, all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, well, I'll give you $500,000 for that $1 million death benefit right now.
Oh, I see.
Yep. And it was a guaranteed return by the person that was wealthy enough to buy the policy.
Wow.
It's a
Interesting.
market for everything.
It's called a
people.
viatical settlement, people.
Boy.
You learn something exciting.
Whoa.
Hurry up and die.
We missed that opportunity.
We call that
Need a
that
new pair.
cocktail party chatter. If you really want to clear out the party at the holidays,
Right.
just bring up viatical settlements.
Oh.
Your relatives will be out of the house in no time. You don't
Yeah.
want to hear it.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you want to be alone during speed dating, talk about viatical, what, settlements?
I'm lucky-
See, I'm bored
I'm-
already.
I'm lucky I married a CPA.
So-
He
so
loves that kind of talk.
He thinks it's great. Wow.
So how do wills play into all of this?
Again, it's important to have a will, but you can do a lot of different things with a will. People assume you have to sit down with an attorney and you have to spend a lot of money, but even just having something simple that says, if I pass away, my children are going to be raised by this person or that person, or I would like the proceeds of my death benefit or my retirement accounts to pay off my mortgage. Simply spelling that stuff out is very, very easy and is definitely a must. I require all of my clients to have all of their documents in place, meaning wills, healthcare directives, and powers of attorney.
Well, that's great advice. we're really grateful that you could stop by and spend some time with us. Anything else you want to add? And please let our listeners know once again how they can get in touch with you.
You know, again, it's easier than people would think to work with me, a certified financial planner, fee-based financial planner, get good advice, have somebody in your side of the ring. You can reach me at 651-300-2456, and I can help you clarify and achieve your goals. Just sit down, have a conversation.
Well, that's great advice, and we've been working together for quite some time now. I can vouch for Elise. Great person, great advice. This is Real Talk Twin Cities. I'm Cheryl Kempenick with Coldwell Banker Burnet, along with Eric Pirius, Bell Mortgage, Donna Quanrud, Coldwell Banker Burnet. You can reach us at realtalktwincities.com or 612-735-0553. And we'll be right back to finish up on some tips that are happening in the real estate market today.